hello you wonderful people and welcome back to the Crested Gaming Lounge. For today's MMO review, we are doing another revisit to an older MMO that I used to play called Blade and Soul. It's an Asian martial arts MMO developed by NCSoft and was first released in the West in 2016. The game premise, as it is, you start off your journey as a student of the Hongmun School. Everything seems to be fine until suddenly the school is attacked by a very powerful woman called Jin So-yoon. There will be a lot of, Korean names in here. So, you just have to live with it. And she and her two goons manage to kill everyone at the school, including Master Hong, or your master, obviously. You're the only survivor, and now you look for revenge! It's the typical, this hero type style background story, right? Somebody kills your family, your master, whatever, your grandmother. You have to go and get revenge. Races. There is only 4 races in Blade and Soul. They are Gon. They're a very large human-looking race, so basically like a half-giant type thing. It is said that they were born from the breath of dragons. Very edgy, very cool. The Lin. They are small and have giant ears and tails. They are descendants from the Kirin. It's apparently a type of legendary animal that were very mischievous and unpredictable. So is the Lin, apparently, They're small, annoying, unpredictable. That sums it up. The Yun. It is a purely female race. They are entwined to the natural world. I guess it's like this kind of, hippie community or something. So yeah, that's basically their whole background story. Jin. The word Jin means unyielding effort, apparently, in the ancient language of the Eastern continent. It is this characteristic that still defines the Jin people, who make up most of the world's, they're basically the human race. Like, they make up the majority of the world, okay? So they are the human of these races. Classes. I will say here, actually, the classes are very well described by the narrator in the game. So, you know what? I will just leave it to her. Take it away, narrator.
Zen archers use multiple attacks and powerful combos to rain down arrows on their opponents. Armed with a bow, mobility, and unique control skills, these versatile fighters can keep their composure in any scenario.
Wielding massive greatswords, Wardens are resilient melee fighters, capable of absorbing punishment and unleashing it on their foes. Building themselves into a frenzied rage, Wardens protect and enhance their allies, shake off incoming attacks and debuffs, and cut down all who would stand in their way.
Gunslingers use dual pistols and grappling hooks to unleash devastating combos and support their allies. Assassins utilize agility, cunning, and unique stealth techniques to catch opponents off guard. Using traps and lightning-fast attacks, disciplined assassins can eliminate their opponents before they have time to counter. Blade Masters are balanced fighters who wield their swords with surgical precision. Their versatility allows them to both evade enemy attacks and cut down their foes with devastating accuracy. Kung Fu Masters are living, breathing weapons capable of destroying opponents with nothing but their own physical prowess and a pair of armored fists. These agile melee fighters specialize in counterattacks and grappling. Warlocks use charms and incantations to unleash a wide array of powerful attacks. They use a thrall and energy from the spirit realm to barrage enemies or strengthen allies. Soul Fighters combine the Kung Fu Master's close-range ferocity and the Force Master's long-range elemental attacks. By switching stances, these warriors can adapt their skills to any fight. Harnessing their inner chi, Force Masters manipulate the elements to assault their enemies from afar, torching them with flames, freezing them with ice, and unleashing blasts of concentrated energy to keep them at a distance. Wielding enormous axes, destroyers are frontline fighters capable of cutting their way through the middle of any melee. Destroyers use brute strength to absorb attacks, pick up their opponents, and annihilate multiple assailants at once. Astromancers use orbs to harness the power of the heavens. Their mastery over reality allows them to teleport across the battlefield and dazzle their opponents with radiant energy. Blade dancers use quick sword strikes to carve through opponents. These versatile warriors can deploy their inner chi to cripple a single foe, or unleash whirling attacks to take out several enemies at once. Summoners harness the power of nature to control and attack foes. They also conjure and command powerful familiars who will fight tooth and claw to keep their masters from harm.
Character creation. The character creation is very, very extensive in Blade and Soul, as you can clearly see from my character roster that will be shown right now.
Ha! No!
You do know how I feel about, too detailed character creation systems. However, I really like this one, mostly because they give you options to actually make characters with a very varied body type. You for example, make them very tall, short. You can make them not overweight, I would say, but you can still change their body type a lot compared to many other MMOs. Even some Asian MMOs that give you options to change, it's so stupid because these other MMOs give you options to change, how far out your nose ridge is pointing and, your dimples and all that shit, but they don't give you an option to make your character a little bit thicker, for example. No. Heavens no. That is forbidden. The start leveling areas. The start leveling area in Blade and Soul is very tutorial styled, but it does stretch over like 2-ish areas, I would say, as you do start in the Hong Moon School to learn all of the basics. And after the school is attacked, you then find yourself in the Bamboo Village, where you get some more hands-on experience. I really enjoyed the starting area/areas in Blade and Soul. It feels like a natural transition from basics to more advanced. What I really like with your learning process in this game is the fact that you keep on getting more training throughout the game in form of letters that's being dropped, like, carrion pigeon and stuff like that, from a mysterious figure that wish to challenge or /train you. Quests. The quests in Blade and Soul are very straightforward in my opinion. You go to a quest giver like in any other MMO. That is indicated. It's indicated by a yellow marker for story missions and a blue marker for side missions. It also seems that all of the story missions are voice acted, but not the side missions. Some of them are, I have seen. I don't know what the criteria is for that, but I do like that the main story missions are actually voice acted. Gameplay/combat. I've sort of mashed those two together in the recent videos. It seems natural to do that. Blade and Soul, not Soul, English, uses an action combat system with some activated abilities. It's basically like all the other action combat system. You have your action abilities and then some other abilities that you can activate by clicking 1 to 5 or 1 to 8 or whatever it is. There are also some abilities that work better in combination with others, and you will get a prompt to use these combo moves on screen. It could be, for example, F or C or whatever, basically whatever button they prompt you to click. Just click it, you will do damage. As it is action combat, you don't have to tab onto a target, but rather aim at an enemy. The gameplay in general, I would say, is very fluent and easy to get into. There is no mounts, I will point that out in Blade and Soul, but you have a very interesting sprinting system and gliding/flying and also a sort of a fast travel system. It kind of has a shard shop, but it's still a fast travel system. So I think that they have solved the problem of not having mounts, but still having a big, extensive world very well. Graphics. The graphics, I will say, does show its age, but the overall art style of the game is very appealing nonetheless, so the outdated graphics does not really affect the experience, I will say. Bugs and glitches. From what I have seen in the game so far, I've not seen any like super buggy or glitchy things that hurt your overall gameplay. There was some that you will see later on in footage from a dungeon, for example. The game did lag slightly there. I don't know if it was a combination of my hardware or it was the overall game struggling with loading in too much things. It's weird. You will see it further on in the video. Audio. The audio in the game is fantastic and really adds to the atmosphere. There are very few MMOs that I have played that makes me stop and listen to the background music. I think so far the only other game that I've played that really makes me stop is like World of Warcraft. It is a great example of this. They have done many shitty things, but one of the things they have done well is the background music, and that is something they have been, given cred for in the past too. They have some great composers that have worked on their music. Difficulty and pace of leveling. We have mashed those together as well, as you know, in the latest videos. The difficulty in general is not super hard, but as with many other MMOs, as you level up, it gets more and more difficult, as you can see from the footage that's rolling right now. I dip very low at some points, and at times even against only one opponent. It doesn't even have to be against multiple opponents. If you're unlucky to start fighting an opponent that has tons of health, or it's like an elite, or whatever you call it in this game, they will wreck you if you're not, careful, and if you don't know your character's combos. The pace of leveling in general is very balanced, I think. You gain experience according to what you do, and with this I mean you don't get too much experience for small tasks, like, oh, go over there, pick up a flower and come back. It feels like you get the experience that is, that you should get for that task. Overall opinion. So we have once again reached this point, the part where I give you my opinion. This is just like a summary usually, but sometimes I poke in a few extra things that I have forgotten in, the past. I do really enjoy Blade and Soul. It has an interesting storyline to follow, and the art style is very pleasing, even with the dated graphics. English, work, please, come on. The action combat is, in my opinion, a bit wonky at times, but considering that you don't very often see action combat systems in MMOs in general, or at least in these older titles, I think it's a fresh breath of air, really, from, some of these older titles. It's the classical mode, right? They have the tab target system. You've played it before, you know it. So this it still adds a little bit of a freshness to it, even if it's a bit wonky at times. I did meet some people on my journey, and you will need to party up with people to do some content. As you can see right now, actually it's rolling, I think, in the background. It should be rolling if I am doing my job. If you're doing dungeons, for example, you can go in solo into them, but you will have a very, very hard time. I do also really appreciate the fact that most of the story quests are voice acted. Even some of the side quests that I mentioned before are voice acted. I did see that some of the like dungeon quests are also voice acted, even though they are considered side quests. So maybe that is the criteria they have. Like, it has to be tie in to the main story somehow to be voice acted. I don't know. It's just cool. The game is not super populated, as I actually looked this up this time. It does get around 100,000 monthly players across both Europe and the US region. According to some lists, or most lists actually, that puts it at the 9th most played MMO in 2020. Compare that to, for example, Guild Wars 2, that is placed at around 4th or 3rd place. They get around 250 to 300,000 monthly players. So it is not super populated, but there's still enough people that you will see them around when you level. But as you will have seen from the footage, I will roll it again. Looking for a dungeon group in lower levels is basically impossible. But that is some of the, that's something you will see in most older MMOs, or even new MMOs really. It is very difficult to get into dungeon groups early on. I think though that the game is worth a try for people that like, just like in general martial arts or martial arts games. And since the price is, you guessed it, free, you do not really lose anything. Well, but maybe some time if you get really sucked into it, but that is about it. You wonderful people! That was it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and please tell me in the comments below what you would like to see me do in the future. I do appreciate your feedback, so please give it to me. So if you like the video, be sure to boop the like button. And if you like me, I know it might be hard, I hope that today is the day that you touch that sub button and become a part of the Crested Gaming Lounge. Until the next time, guys, I hope you have a great morning, day, or night, wherever you might be. See you in the next video. Bye bye.